Hey everybody, Ben Beck here from Next Level Radio, and Adam and I are back with another guest spotlight. This time around we spoke with George Escobar, who came on our show to talk about his new film, Alone Yet Not Alone, which he both co-directed, co-wrote, and actually co-produced at the same time. George was actually really fun to talk to. He was very insightful, especially when it came to the filmmaking process. So please make sure you go and you see Alone Yet Not Alone in theaters beginning this Friday, June 13th. For more info on Alone Yet Not Alone, you can go to aloneyetnotalone.com, or you can follow the movie on Twitter at AYNA The Movie. For more interviews and shows from us here at Next Level, go to nextlevelradioonline.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/nextlevelradioonline, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube if you haven't already, and in the meantime, please sit back and listen to this great interview with director and writer George Escobar.
Welcome to another Next Level Radio guest spotlight. I'm Adam Gorey, joined by my co-host Ben Beck. Tonight's guest is here to talk about his new film, Alone Yet Not Alone. Joining us now on the Next Level Radio hotline is the film's co-director and co-writer. Please welcome George Escobar. George, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on your program.
Oh, thanks for coming on. Where are you calling us from?
I am calling from a little town called Purcellville, Virginia, next to Leesburg, Virginia.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're local to Philadelphia, which actually is funny because some of the movie is set there, but I don't know how far. Usually about a 4 or 5 hour trip to Virginia. So I mean, you're East Coast. Were you always from Virginia, or did you ever did you come from the West Coast or?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, went to the American Film Institute in Los Angeles, and made my way to the East Coast.
Okay, what made you want to come to the East Coast from LA or from California?
I was following my wife.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, I did the same thing. I mean, not quite that far. Maybe I only moved about a half hour from where I was from, so you got me beat there. But like I had mentioned, your new film coming out this Friday, Alone Yet Not Alone, June 13th. For those who may not have seen even a trailer yet, how would you explain the movie to them?
Well, the movie is based on a book or a novel by Tracy Leiniger Craven, and it's a true story about a German family who immigrate from Europe, trying to escape the perpetual wars that were going on at that time. This is in the mid-1700s, and they are also trying to get some more religious freedom, and they end up in the western frontier of Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, smack in the outbreak of the French and Indian War. So there is a raid in their home and their town, and two of the girls in this family, the Leiniger family, are taken captive and are split into different tribes, and then Barbara Leiniger, who is 12 years old, manages to escape a few years later, and she has to journey about 300 miles to try and get home through the wilderness while being chased by her captors. But throughout the whole ordeal of captivity and the escape itself and just survival, she's really hung on to the promise that her father and mother had instilled in her, which is in the through the Word of God in Deuteronomy 31:6, about God never leaving us or forsaking us.
Right, and I mean that's there's obviously that big difference when she is captured between her religion and then also the Native American beliefs as well.
Yeah, definitely. The Native Americans are trying to replenish their tribe, and the process of assimilation is depicted in the story.
Right.
Now, I know a majority of the movie takes place in Ohio and Pennsylvania. But when it came to shooting the movie, is that primarily where you stuck around, or did you film in other locations outside of that area?
I had to shoot outside of the area. We were able to shoot at Penn's Creek area, the cave there in particular. But we really couldn't go back to the original location because it's mostly developed farmland now. We had to go to a place called Explore Park in Roanoke, Virginia, 200 acres of just pristine wilderness that sort of doubled for the farmland. They have rivers there that doubled for the Ohio River, just the wilderness terrain. And we also filmed at the waterfalls where Last of the Mohicans was filmed in North Carolina.
Okay.
And we.
I was going to mention that because that's, that kind of takes place around the same time as well, and that, that's one of my favorite. I'm only 27, so that movie came out when I was young, but I did watch it, when I was younger. And that was another great movie of, around the same time that this takes place.
That's right. We were fortunate that film came out because we were able to look at that and study it and try and do the cinematography that would be comparable.
Yeah, I mean the locations that you guys did choose were beautiful. I mean, especially as, like you said, as developed as areas get, it's kind of hard nowadays to find areas that aren't developed and that you can, just find acres and acres of wilderness.
Yeah, we didn't want to spend our dollars trying to remove telephone lines and things like that.
I mean, just like Last of the Mohicans, the story itself from the movie, it's a very compelling story. When you were in the process of writing this movie, where did you actually find a lot of the research and that you used to inspire the movie?
Well, I was fortunate that most of the research was done by Tracy Leiniger Craven, who's actually a descendant of the people that are in the story. She had fallen in love with the story after hearing tales of her ancestors passed down through generations from her grandmother. And so she wrote a novel based on a lot of research she did in the Pennsylvania area. And there's a lot of documentation on the captivity story surrounding Barbara and Regina and Marie, one of their friends. And, of course, documents about young George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and what they were doing at that time, because they are featured in this film. And finally, Pastor Muhlenberg, also the account of his life. And so I read the novel. I then developed the treatment. And research continued, and the executive producers handed me a manuscript a year after I finished the treatment and asked me to write the screenplay, and they gave me 3 weeks to do it. Draft took us 3 weeks, and then we obviously made subsequent drafts after that. It was highly intense moment there.
Well, you did a good job for 3 weeks, I'll tell you that.
I had a co-writer, James Richards, who did a great job on the research and the dialogue and everything else.
And you had also wrote and directed a movie in 2009 called Come What May. That was not a true story, right? I hadn't had a chance to watch it, but that one was not a true story?
It's not a true story, but it's based on events that happened at college.
Oh, okay. So it's a little nonfiction. But, well, I mean, which movie between that and Alone Yet Not Alone, which one kind of presented more challenges? One based, on basically a story that's been around for a while and was made into a novel, or one that was, I mean, not completely fictional, but a little more room to work with?
Well, they're both very challenging because Come What May was really the first feature film that I was involved in as a director and producer. That presented its own challenges, and then of course Alone Yet Not Alone, much bigger film, bigger scale and scope, and definitely an epic type story. But I had done films in between those two, so I was ready for Alone.
Now, when it comes to movies like this, where they're based on a true event, I can imagine it's very difficult to make things as historically accurate as possible. What kind of difficulties do you find that you run into when you're trying to be as accurate as possible?
Well, you know that certain segments of the audience are historians as well as reenactors, and they're going to really go into detail and nitpick what's on the screen, and they obviously have permission to do that. Sometimes at the expense, though, of really looking at the overall story and the storytelling that's being presented. We would like to say that we were 100% accurate, but there's no film that ever achieves that unless you spend a ton of money. So we try to get as close to the historical accuracy as we could afford, as also what we could find in documentation. And we relied on the expertise of the production heads that we hired, for costuming and as well as set construction and props, all the details. We had to make everything because this is the mid 1700s and can't just go down to Walmart.
Yeah.
Now, the main Native American tribe in the movie is the Delaware tribe. Did you have to track any of them down to kind of get a little bit of feedback from them?
Well, we worked with some casting folks who had done other historical films with Native Americans, so we again relied on their expertise in terms of getting the cast and also trying to achieve authenticity.
Okay.
So that's how we worked it.
Okay, and no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, there was not a lot of time to prepare the movie. We were able to. I work for hire on my part. I have a production company called Advent Film Group, and I was hired by Enthuse Entertainment, who produced Alone Yet Alone. I only had like 3 months to prep this whole movie.
Oh wow! I was gonna say because the novel that came out pretty recently, I thought, right? Was that 2009 or 2008, something like that?
Well, the reprint of the novel where they incorporated footage from the movie.
Okay.
Movie. But there was an earlier version of the novel, I think, early as 10 years ago.
Okay. So that's still pretty new in itself. Now, as you kind of touched on it before, there's also this religious undertone to the film, and some people, especially these days, with social media and especially the younger generation, and I know I'm saying that at the age of 27, but even got kids younger than I am are much worse. With the combining of a little bit religion as well as a historical film like this, it might turn some people off, if they don't know anything about it. What steps did you guys take during production to keep true to the times, but at the same time, be appealing to the general audience?
Yeah, that's a great question because, you do need to remain true to the characters, their situation, and the times. How did people approach the Bible? What kind of spiritual rituals were around. Same time, you have to remain true to what is in the biblical text. One of the best ways that actually we were able to bring all of it together is the song that was composed by Bruce Broughton and the lyrics by Dennis Spiegel. That is sort of the unifying glue for the entire story because it has the movie in the song, which is that, through whatever trials, tribulations, and triumphs in our lives we encounter, God is with us. He'll never leave us or forsake us. Hence, we could feel alone, yet we're never actually alone.
Right.
What's remarkable about that song is when we commissioned Bruce Broughton, he was brought to me by one of our executive producers in Wales who had produced Amazing Grace and the Christie TV series. So he knew a lot about historical films and how to produce them well. So he brought Broughton into the production, and we asked Bruce, hey, Bruce, could you write something that's appropriate for 1755, hymn-like, prayerful, reverential, and yet it has to resonate with a modern audience? And by the way, could you make it be as classic as Amazing Grace, perhaps? Do you think you can do that? And I think he came close. It's a beautiful song, and I think it's going to be a timeless classic.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you did a good job.
How long did actual production on the movie last? I don't know if we had brought this up or not, but how long did the actual production, like the filming process, take?
Yeah, the actual principal photography or physical production, it was about 45 days with almost 6 weeks of high, intense pre-production, at the locations. And then almost a year-long post-production. There are a lot of visual effects in this film, actually. We couldn't, when you see the boats enter the river as the Native Americans are fleeing the attack, there's only, I think, like 4 or 5 canoes that we could muster.
Oh, really?
Like a couple dozen.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't even. I didn't even realize that. I was thinking too, like during watching, I was like, oh, they must not have needed to do too much as far as visual effects, but obviously I was wrong.
A lot of visual effects in that movie.
Yeah.
Was the weather pretty cooperative when you were filming in Virginia for that long?
Yeah, we were so blessed. The weather was perfect. We filmed at a time that we knew we could get pretty good weather, and get a little bit of the summer going into the fall, and then getting it pretty chilly so that when we filmed the snow scenes, we didn't have to replicate the breath, with when it's cold.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The vapor? Yep.
Yeah.
Those are authentic vapors if you see them.
Oh, cool.
It was cold.
Yes, I'm sure in those the outfits they had, the costumes, that probably didn't help.
Yeah, and that water also was cold when we were filming cave scenes.
Oh yeah, water on the East Coast has this capability of staying cold for the longest amount of time. I mean, even now there's probably lakes and rivers out there that the water is still freezing cold.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're getting ready to, and we're getting short on time with you, but I know, at least on our end, but usually how we like to wrap up our interviews is we like to do what we call our rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
Basically, all they are, they're just 3 or 4 questions. They're very short, very simple questions. All you have to do is just answer with the first thing that pops into your head. You don't have to go into too many details. They're just really easy questions.
Okay. Do you think we have time to talk about one more item here as far as...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anything you want to talk about, we can talk about.
Yeah, I would love to just talk about how important making time and effort to be at the opening weekend, because that's when Hollywood really pays attention whether a movie is going to be successful or not, and indicates whether we should make more movies like that.
Well, you said the movie opens this Friday. Is it limited release or is it a nationwide release?
It's a nationwide release, but it's still fairly limited. Right now there's 100 cities that are on board. We want to grow that into the next weekend, so we really need people to turn out for that opening weekend.
Yeah, and I do know Philadelphia, I can't remember off the top of my head which theater, but if you go on, like one of the movie sites like Fandango or something, I know there is a theater in Philadelphia that's definitely going to have it, so anyone from the area, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, not just for the benefit of this film, but future films. And one of the other things that is important is that, when you see a film like this and young people are watching it and entire families, oftentimes kids are inspired. They either historically they want to do that or hey, they want to make movies. And we want parents to be encouraged that there is hope and there's an actual profession that their kids can undertake that's pretty wholesome and safe, that they don't have to make typical raunchy or overly violent films.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, the fact that, it's a great way that makes, especially a movie like this, it makes history interesting. I mean, I learned stuff that I had forgot from learning back in high school and grade school. And it made me, even watching the film, I whip out my phone real quick and Google some stuff while I'm watching it to learn a little bit more.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm glad that worked for you.
Yeah.
I mean, and from the filmmaker's perspective, too, I spent about 2.5 years making a small independent film. So I can see where exactly what you mean when it comes to that, too, is the big budget movies that are out in theaters, everybody's going to go see them just because they are what they are. But you want to get the attention of the crowds to go out and to see those smaller independent movies, because those are a lot of the people that are in the movies and that make those movies, those are the guys that become the guys that make those bigger movies later on in life, or at least hope to at one point in their career. So
yeah, that's so So true.
Yeah, so I definitely get where you're coming from when it comes to wanting people to come out and see the movie, because I completely agree with you. We're absolutely going to send people to go out and see this movie as best as we can, because it's the independent movies, at least in my opinion, those are the movies that are worth watching more than those blockbusters.
Well, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, I was gonna say, you get so much better writing too, and you know, Alone Yet Not Alone is no different. You get better writing because that's more important, because you don't have the larger budget to do these crazy visual. You know, I know you guys said you have visual effects, but you know, it's not like some big blockbuster, huge budget. But that means the writing is that much better.
Yeah, I think it becomes a more character-driven type story, and you rely on hopefully better actors too.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I don't think. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's a lot of pressure on the budget from all sides. You know, from the catering to the transportation department to costume, and boy, you know, it doesn't. The IMDb indicates that the estimated budget for this movie is $7 million, which I think is pretty accurate. If you compare that to Last of the Mohicans, made in 1990, and that one cost 40 or 41 million, which in today's dollars would be over 100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could, where I thought we did a great job, everybody in cast and crew, to bring about a movie that looked terrific and you know, was well made.
Well, I think on the same end too, and as I said, coming from the side that I came from, having made the movie too, having the limited budget and working with what you have, I think really drives and forces out more creativity, because it forces you to be more creative with what you have.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Let me give you a little bit of an insight, which I've never actually told this part. But if you've seen the movie, I think you guys have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a scene where the two girls go into a cave. Well, we show them going into the mouth of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of that scene was actually filmed, you know, outdoors at night next to a river, because we couldn't really physically film in that cave at the time that it was accessible to us. So, you know, you've been very creative, but completely sells, because you can see we were able to find a wall face that looked like a cave, but it was completely done outdoors at night.
Yeah, that's crazy. You literally cannot tell. Like, if you didn't tell me that, I would have never known. Yeah.
Well, you guys just said it. You know, you have to be creative when you can't build a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we absolutely are going to send people out to see this film. Like I said, it was a very well done, very compelling film. So we're absolutely going to send people out to see this.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
I think I'm ready for your wrap.
Okay, awesome.
All right. First one is, what's your favorite place to visit?
Walt Disney World.
Oh, that's a good choice. We actually were just there in February, so my wife and I have gone down, I think, the past 2 years now.
I think it's eye candy for filmmakers.
Yeah, it really is. If you were directing a movie about your life, who would you cast to play yourself?
Oh, great question. I would love to have Jimmy Stewart play me.
Okay. Third one.
Don't look any way alike.
Oh, that's okay. It doesn't have to.
Well, hey, Robin Williams didn't look anything like Patch Adams.
I was gonna say.
And that worked.
Yeah. Third one is, what's your favorite piece of technology?
That would have to be Macintosh.
Okay, just all of it?
Yeah, that computer changed my life.
Last one. Who has had the biggest influence on you in your life?
My wife. The one that is a much better person.
There you go. That's a great answer. I if I was asked that, I'd probably have to say my wife too, only because she listens to the show.
Well, George, we definitely want to thank you for joining us tonight. We want to send people absolutely to look into it and find out where the movie is playing. Go out and support the independent film industry. Go out and see this film, Alone Yet Not Alone. They can find any information on the film that they want to find at aloneyetnotalone.com, and they can also follow the film at Anya the Movie on Twitter. And it opens up. It opens up this Friday, June 13th.
AYNA, the movie. It looks like Anya, but I mean it's just the acronym.
The N and the Y are reversed. Sorry.
Yeah, George, do you have a Twitter yourself that people can follow you on, or do you kind of stay away from Twitter?
I tend to stay away. There's some Twitter for some of our films, but I pretty much on Facebook.
Okay. All right, just checking. But yeah, we really want to thank you for coming on, and definitely we're going to make sure we tell people to go see the film because it is good. And we've seen a lot of movies lately, and I'm not too picky when it comes to movies, but I will say this: my patience isn't always the best, and I was able to. This movie was able to at least keep my attention and. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those where I got bored, and I wasn't on my phone because I was checking Facebook. I was on my phone because I was looking up historical facts about the movie.
Well, it's great talking with you guys. You asked some really good questions in a fun interview, and we're not far from each other, so our next production, we should stay in touch and get you guys involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We would love that, yeah.
So... we'll definitely keep in touch. But for now, we're going to sign off. So everybody who's listening right now, thank you for joining us. You can check us out at nextlevelradioonline.com. Follow us on Twitter at NXTLevelRadio. And we will see you around the bend. Take care.